Welcome to Amplify with Jess Ekstrom, a show designed to help women get out of their head and into their zone of influence.
Happy Monday, everyone. Here's some food for thought to start your week. Imagine you had an assistant that could fit in your pocket and tell you any piece of information you desired. How many stars are in the galaxy? How do I make a sourdough starter? Which I did follow all the directions and failed at that. What does it mean when something uploads to the cloud? Well, I think we all know by now that we actually do have that assistant that fits in our pocket that can tell us anything we want to know. And that is our handy dandy phone. When you think about it, you feel like this should be a great thing. We have access to all the information we could ever need. However, I feel like access to so much knowledge is one of the main thorns in our side that prevents us from acting like a student, being a beginner, and trusting ourselves. There are a few reasons why access to all of this plethora of information can kill our motivation. When we're aware of them, we can help dodge these pitfalls. The first one being that overconsumption of knowledge actually distracts us from creating because we're too busy consuming. The best gift I ever gave myself was a $12 alarm clock. Why? Because I would set my alarm on my phone, swipe up, then immediately go down a rabbit hole of an app, an email, news, or any text that I missed during the night. When I removed the temptation to immediately check my phone when waking up, I realized something amazing. The world keeps spinning, even if I am not reading about it or communicating with people first thing in the morning. Your morning mind is precious real estate. It's untouched by other people's thoughts, podcasts, noise, worries, requests. Why put that real estate up for sale when you could hang on to it and create your own ideas before you consume others? The second reason is being fed all of this information actually makes us feel like we should know everything by now because we have access to it. If we have access to a whole universe of information, it makes us feel like being a beginner is illegal. How could you not know what you're doing if there's a whole YouTube channel, Wikipedia article, and countless TikTok experts on this? As an adult, being new or a beginner at something can be super vulnerable, which is why we need to keep training that muscle by exposing ourselves to moments where we have no idea what's going on. Whether that's playing a new board game or learning a new skill, exposure to being a beginner actually helps us reduce the stigma of insecurity when you're in the process of figuring it out. And that third reason is overconsumption of knowledge keeps us from our intuition. This one is a biggie. I have a really bad habit of always using my GPS, even when I am driving somewhere locally that I have been a million zillion times before. As a result, I don't trust my intuition for directions when I'm driving because I'm so conditioned to rely on a GPS telling me where I should be going. This idea of overconsumption of knowledge keeping us from our intuition really hit me in the face when it came to parenting, especially baby sleep. There is a whole multi-million-dollar industry dedicated to baby sleep. Courses, feedings, nighttime routines, products, sound machines, everything down to telling you to flip your baby upside down before you put him or her in the crib because it will help them sleep better. Not even kidding. The same way that Taylor Swift fans keep tabs on her and watch her every move, I was basically a Swiftie to baby sleep. My husband and I consumed countless courses before the baby came. We read all the books. All the social media algorithms for me were how to make your baby sleep through the night and pay for their college by the time they're 7 weeks. Okay, that might be an exaggeration, but you get my point. So by the time it was time to put everything I learned into action, I found myself drowning in acronyms I learned from courses, tips I learned from influencers, and flipping through to books to page 438 to try to find where they talked about pacifiers. And every decision I made, I felt like it was the wrong decision because there were 12 other decisions on deck that I could have made that I had read about. Why did I sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star when the video told me to sing Hush, Little Baby? What I didn't realize was my default was just like my GPS, trusting other people's directions before I trusted my own. The access to information was keeping me from my own intuition. I wasn't thinking, what do I think is right? Or what is my gut telling me to do? I was just digging to see what the experts would say. So I made this change, and hopefully this can help you too. I found 1 to 2 experts in certain areas that I trusted, unfollowed the rest, and only listened to them when I needed it. I also made my intuition my default and only fell back on articles, books, and other information when I felt like I truly needed it. Now it's up to you to find your balance of how much information is making you better and how much information is weighing on one end of your seesaw so heavily that you're going to fly off the other side. Maybe it's narrowing down your experts. Maybe it's audit your social media, or maybe it's just being mindful and pausing before you look for the answer outside first, and instead checking inside. I'll also share with what another mom told me when I was drowning in these articles. She said to me, you don't need the resource if what you're doing is working for you. That sounds obvious, but it isn't. If what you're doing is working for you, your work, your family, you don't need the supplemental resources. Let them go. I'll leave you with this. When we overconsume knowledge, we're building a barrier between ourselves and our intuition. Learn to trust your thoughts before you consume someone else's. Thanks for listening to Amplify. If you are a fan of the show, show us some podcast love by giving us a rating and review. And give us a follow at Mic Drop Workshop and at Jess Ekstrom. Coming up on Amplify.
That's what imposter syndrome is. I'm comparing myself to everyone else and I suck. That's essentially what it is. So if we take that away and we just start to think in terms of, okay, you know what? Jess is better than me at this one thing. But wow, I'm going to really work really hard to be supportive of that. I'm going to share her content. I'm going to ask for her advice. I'm going to ask for her time and support. Now it's no longer a me against Jess thing. It's a me and Jess thing.
This episode was edited and produced by Earfluence, and I'm Jess Ekstrom, your host. Remember that you deserve the biggest stage, so let's find out how to get you there. I'll see you again soon.